This conference will now be recorded.
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अली अल्लाह मदद फरमा। या हय्यू या कय्यूम या जल जलाली वल इकराम। या हय्यू या कय्यूम या जलाली वल इकराम। हय्यू या कय्यूम या जल जलाली वल इकराम। या हय्यू या कय्यूम या जल जलाली वल इकराम। या हय्यू या कय्यूम या जल जलाली वल इकराम। या हय्यू या कय्यूम या जल जलाली वल इकराम। या हय्यू या कय्यूम या जल जलाली वल इकराम। या हय्यू या कय्यूम या जल जलाली वल इकराम। या हय्यू या कय्यूम या जल जलाली वल इकराम। या हय्यू या कय्यूम या जल जलाली वल इकराम। या हय्यू या कय्यूम या जल जलाली वल इकराम। या हय्यू या कय्यूम या जल जलाली वल इकराम। या हय्यू या कय्यूम या जल जलाली वल इकराम। या हय्यू या कय्यूम या जल जलाली वल इकराम। या हय्यू या कय्यूम या जल जलाली वल इकराम। या हय्यू या कय्यूम या जल जलाली वल इकराम। या हय्यू या कय्यूम या जल जलाली वल इकराम। या हय्यू या कय्यूम या जल जलाली वल इकराम। या हय्यू या कय्यूम या जल जलाली वल इकराम। या हय्यू या कय्यूम या जल जलाली वल इकराम। या हय्यू या कय्यूम या जल जलाली वल इकराम। हय्यू या कय्यूम या जल जलाली वल इकराम। या हय्यूम या जल जलाली इकराम। या हय्यू या कय्यूम या जल जलाली वल इकराम। या हय्यू या कय्यूम या जल जलाली वल इकराम। या हय्यू या कय्यूम या जल जलाली वल इकराम। या हय्यू या कय्यूम या जल जलाली वल इकराम। या हय्यू या कय्यूम या जल जलाली वल इकराम। अल्लाहुम्मा लक सुजूदी व ताअती। शुक्रन लिल्लाहि वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह। शुक्रन लिल्लाहि वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह। या अली मदद अजीज सर।
या अली मदद, या अली मदद। बहुत खूब, सुभान अल्लाह, सुभान अल्लाह। क्या खूब तस्वीर है कि वो हर हमेशा जिंदा, हाजिर और मौजूद है और हर चीज पर कादिर है। बहुत ही बाबरकत व जबरदस्त है। सुभान अल्लाह, सुभान अल्लाह। तमाम साथियों को या अली मदद। Thank
और
you
अली
for joining
मदद
us and welcome to our 13th session on the importance of ilm. This will be part 2. We had started with some questions which were pending from the previous sessions, and we had talked about the salawat and dua. And inshallah, today we will continue that journey. We will need your prayers and your attention, inshallah. So let's begin with the blessed name of Nur Maulana Shah Karim Al Husaini. Hazir Imam, Hazir Imam. Ya Maulay Mehrban, Madad Farma. Ya Maulay Mehrban, Madad Farma. Alayul Qayyum. Ali Allah, Madad Farma. Ya Maula, Tawfiq, Tahid, Himmat wa Yari Maula. Tawfiq, Tahid, Himmat wa Yari Maula. Ya Maula, प्लीज हमारे करीब आ जा मौला. या मौला, अपना शफकत व मुबारक हाथ हम गरीबों पर रख मौला. या मौला, हमारे करीब रहते हुए हमें अपने नूर की रोशनी में हिदायत फरमा मौला, क्योंकि तेरे हिदायत, तेरी मदद, तेरे नूर के बगैर हम एक ऐसे मुसाफिर हैं मौला इस इल्म की जर्नी पर जो अंधे हैं, कुछ देख नहीं सकते मौला, कुछ समझ नहीं पाते हैं मौला. लेकिन अगर तेरा नूर और उसकी रोशनी और तेरी हिदायत और तेरी दौरानी हम गरीबों के साथ रहे मौला, तो हम कुछ छोटी मोटी कोशिश कर सकते हैं मौला. तेरी मदद के बगैर मौला हम कुछ भी नहीं और कुछ भी नहीं कर सकते हैं मौला. तो हमारी गुर्बत का अंदाजा कर सकता है मौला कि हम कितने गिरे हुए हैं, इस इल्म की समझ नहीं मौला. वरना क्या इतने लोगों के अंदर थोड़े से इस्माइली तेरे चाहने वाले मौला बहुत ही कम है मौला, और उसके अंदर बहुत ही कम इल्म के शदाई, तेरे नूर के शदाई है मौला. तो हम गरीबों को मदद फरमा मौला, ताकि हम तेरे ही इल्म से तेरे नूर तक पहुंच सके मौला. इमाम शनासी की बरकत इनायत फरमा मौला. या मौलाए मेहरबान, तेरा खाना वदान, तेरी रहमत हम गरीबों पर रहे मौला. हर हमेशा तेरा साया हमारे सरों पर रहे मौला. या मौलाए मेहरबान, मदद फरमा. तमाम साथियों को एक बार फिर याली मदद एंड वेलकम. Let's come to our question number 2. In one of our session, you had said, once a mu'min is successful in ibadat, he can share his nur with Jamaat. How and when? बहुत ही खूबसूरत सवाल है, and I would like to congratulate this person who's asking this question. That shows that he is paying attention to the sessions and what is being said during those sessions. Those of you who would like to read Quran, find an ayat which talks about that they will walk amongst the human others amongst you with their नूर, वो आपके दरमियान में अपने नूर के साथ चलते हैं. If you would find that ayat and then find another ayat where Allah talks about on that day you will see. So एक उस तरफ से है कि वो अपने नूर के साथ तुम्हारे अंदर चलते हैं. One is from this one side. From the second side, you will see those mu'mineen in the time of Qiyamah, which is today's time, that their nur will be in front of them and on the side of them. आप देखेंगे उस दिन कि इन मोमिन मर्दों और औरतों का नूर उनके आगे आगे और उनके दाएं तरफ दौड़ रहा होगा. So with these two ayat and understanding, let's come to the question. And what is such a beautiful question? First of all, we must remember we are only and only talking about those who are truly and completely are successful in ibadat and marifat. Remember this word. सबसे पहले हम उन लोगों की बात करते हैं जो इबादत बंदगी में कामयाब और मारिफत में भी कामयाब हैं. We are not talking about everyone at every level. There are many levels. For example, a moment who does ibadat may feel happiness, may see a spark of light, may have an initial didar. For them, they must stay quiet. Do not share. This part we all understand. We have heard Imam's Farman of Baitul Qiyal again and again and again that this happiness is your and your individually. ये खुशी, ये रूहानी राहत आपके लिए जाती है. We are not talking about them. Then they get to the next level and the next level. We are talking about those mu'mineen who are at the level of hudude deen, meaning they have elevated their soul in such a way, in such a manner, and have received the ilm of the Imam from their batin. They have received ilm laduni from the batin. They have been blessed by the nur, by the didar, and by the ilm and the marifat of the Imam successfully and completely. And completely. When they speak, when they share their nur, when they will share their ilm, they would have been given the permission and such a vocabulary that you will never know that they are actually sharing their nur with you. And I will give example. Let me explain this in Urdu for a minute. हम उन आला मर्तबे के मोमिनीन की बात कर रहे हैं जिन्होंने इबादत में अपने इस्म आज़म को मुकम्मल किया है और ऐसे आला दर्जात तक पहुंचे हैं कि जहां पर उनके पास इमाम का नूर, इमाम का दीदार, इमाम की मारिफत, इमाम का इल्म और तावीलात उनको इनायत की गई है, ना कि किताबों से बल्कि उनको अंदर से सिखाया गया है। उनको इल्म लदूनी दिया गया है, इल्म तावील दी गई है और अब उनके पास अमर भी है बोलने का और उनके पास ऐसी जबान भी है कि जिससे वो इस इल्म को बयान करते हैं और ये वाह उनका लोगों के साथ नूर बांटना, शेयर करना। Otherwise, at all other levels, they should remain quiet and do not disclose your happiness, your spark, your initial success. Because they are given the ilm and the understanding and the marifat recognition and the language and example. Every single ginan is actually our peers' spiritual success and its story and event. They are sharing with you their spiritual journey. But you will never know that because they have such a vocabulary, such a way of sharing their nur that you will never know. But unless and until you yourself are at such a level where your light will come on and you will say, oh, Peer is talking about his spiritual journey. He's talking about how he was successful in his Ismi Azam. When and how he received the Nur and the Didar of the Imam. What happened after he received the Nur and the Didar? What did he do after that? Pir Nasir Khusro says, until that day when the Nur of the Imam was shining on my personal world, my example was like a dark night. जब तक इमाम के नूर की रोशनी मुझ पर नहीं पड़ी, मेरी मिसाल एक अंधेरी रात की तरह थी. And I could not see anything. क्योंकि इतना अंधेरा था कि मैं कुछ नहीं देख सकता था. Then the light of Imam was on me and I was able to see like a sun in the sky. Again, for those who are lover, who are reader of the Quran, find these three ayat. I have taught him the Quran. I gave him the life, and I have given him the tongue to speak. This is related to this question. We are talking about that Arif Kamil who have been given the ilm of the Quran, meaning ilm of the Imam as a Quran Natik. Then he was given the Nur and life. इसके बाद उसको नूर दिया गया जिससे वो जिंदगी पाया, जिंदा हो गया. He was given the nur with which he became alive. Now he is given the tongue, the vocabulary with which he speaks. And that's how he shares his spiritual experiences, his nur, and all which he has received from the Imam in his batin. And that is amanat. And if you look at in our fifth part of the dua, that you know which amanat you have been given. Look in our dua. I want all of us to do some labor, some research, some personal research. Look in our fifth dua and the ayat at the beginning of the fifth dua and the very last line of that. And you know which amanat is been given to you. Do not do khiyanat. Do not betray your trust, which has been bestowed on you. We are talking about those arifin and such a mu'mineen who has been blessed by Imam's nur and the ilm. And then they are told, you know the trust, amanat I have put on you. Do not betray me. Return their trust back to the Jamaat. Because this ilm, this light, this dormitory, this guidance, the ilm of the Imam belongs to Jamaat, not to one person, not to one individual, but it belongs to Jamaat. Again, come back to the Quran. Find that ayat that if you do not return that trust back to him, the ilm which has been trusted to you, if you do not return that to the others, then there is no one more cruel, zalim than you are. अगर वो जो आपको दिया गया, अगर आप उसको नहीं बांटते हैं, and the words of the Quran is that you know the truth, and if you do not share that truth with others, there is no one more cruel than you are. जो सच्चाई तुम्हें पता है, जो तुमको दिखाई गई है, समझाई गई है, दी गई है, अगर अब आप उसको नहीं बांटते हो तो तुमसे बड़ा जालिम कोई नहीं होगा. इन इमाम सुल्तान मोहम्मद शाह फरमान, कलाम इमाम मुबीन, those who has the ilm must share. Then Imam explained, who can share the ilm? Can everyone share the ilm? No. Imam explains, amongst you who can be teachers, who has complete, underline word, complete understanding of तरीका. तुम में से जो मुकम्मल तौर पर, अधूरा नहीं, मुकम्मल तौर पर इल्म को जानता है, and then second condition is put, and also have understanding of the batin, और जो रूहानियत की कुछ सूझ बुझ रखता है. they can be the teacher and they are the one who's supposed to share the ilm. How? With such a language that without disclosing what has been given to you by the Imam, they use the language, hikmati, wisdomful language. And when do they do that? Only when someone comes to him. He does not give this ilm to everyone openly. He does not do that. He only gives to ilm when you come to him. So your question was how and when? How? With wisdomful language. When? When you go to him. Meaning you must seek. You must do personal search. You must look for that ilm yourself. And when you find that ilm, now it is up to you to take it or leave it. Free will remains with you. You take that ilm, you understand that ilm, you follow that ilm, and you become like him. Or you can live it. You can just live it, and it is not compulsory on you. But Imam's Farman is, and I would like to give this Farman, and we all have heard this Farman from this Garib and Nachis again and again. Look for this Farman too. Research. It's Karachi Farman 2000. Find those classes, the word is class, where the ilm of our tariqah is given. And Imam talks about personal search, individual search. It is put on us. The responsibility, the burden is on our shoulder to find those classes. Not all the classes, okay? Those classes where Imam's true ilm, the ilm of our tariqah is given. You see, this is how a mu'min who's successful must return that trust, the ilm or whatever is been given to him back to the Jamaat, because Imam has trusted him. It was not individual success, but a collective responsibility on his shoulder to give to the Jamaat. Because Imam does not come. Imam will not come and sit amongst you on every Sunday morning and say, my spiritual children, come, let me teach you. No, Imam is a king. इमाम तो जो है वो दोनों जहानों का शहंशाह है. वो अपने मुरीदों के जरिए से, अपने दाइयों के जरिए से, अपने हुज्जतों के जरिए से जमात को इल्म पहुंचाता है. He uses the intercessors, the way to give the ilm, the light to the Jamaat. In one of Imam's speech in New York, again, personal search, look it up. Imam says, we are the one who will share the light with others. We, not me, not I. We will share the light with others. I believe this answered your question completely, inshallah. Then if you wanted to know more, you can ask again. Question number 3. And this comes from Pakistan. One of our friend asked, Can you once again explain Rahman and Rahim? And does the part of Rahim, mercy, for the Mu'mineen or Muttaqeen can be for other than Ismaili? बहुत ही खूबसूरत क्वेश्चन है। हमारी बहन पूछती है कि आपने रहमान और रहीम की बात की अपने दुआ के मानी को समझाते हुए, पहले पार्ट में से सूरह अल-हम्द में से। क्या आप दोबारा से रहमान और रहीम के मानी समझा सकते हैं और किस तरह से रहीम का जो जोहर है, the attribution of Rahim and the mercy of Rahim is exclusively for the Jamaat, for the Mu'mineen wa Muttaqeen. So let's come back to the Surah Al-Hamd. Rahman and Rahim is mentioned twice in Surah Al-Hamd. But before we go there, I would like you to take you down to the 4th or 5th ayat in Surah Al-Hamd. Guide us on Sirat al-Mustaqim, the 4th ayat. The 5th ayat, on the path on whom your reward, your blessing is on. हमें सिरात al-Mustaqim पर कायम रख और चला उन लोगों के पीछे पीछे कि जिस पर तेरा इनाम हुआ। ये पार्ट को याद रखें। Now let's come back to understand Rahman and then particularly Rahim. All right, so I have written down for easy understanding, inshallah. So here it is. You can see it on your screen. This is question number 3. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, who is most gracious and most merciful. अल्लाह के नाम से जो बहुत ही मेहरबान और नियायती रहम करने वाला है. And you can see it's mentioned twice again in ayat number 3 right here. Twice. Rahman is the attribution of Imam, where he is Imamul Nas. जब हम रहमान की बात करते हैं और रहमान को इमाम से जोड़ते हैं तो हम कहते हैं कि इमाम जो पूरी दुनिया का इमाम है, वो सब के लिए रहमान और मेहरबान है, सबके लिए बराबर बराबर. इस्माइली, मुसलमान, क्रिश्चियन, अहले किताब, हिंदू, काफर, atheist, regardless. He is merciful on all human as Imamul Nas, the Imam of the human, regardless of they accept him or does not accept him. Even if they are not even Ahle Kitab or believe in one God, if they are Hindu or atheist, even then Imam is equally as the Imamul Nas, the Imam of the people. He is Mehraban, Rahman, merciful on them. On the contrary, on other side, he is most gracious, most merciful, most loving, most giving to those who are under his bayat. And I will give you the example of that. And the same example which Nachis had used during the dua meaning sessions. Then let's take our example. We have children and sometimes their friends comes to our home. And then when time comes to eat, we say, beta, come on, bachcho, aa jao, let's eat. When you say beta, bachcho, you are talking to all of them equally, including your own children. You call them beta. You call them children. But when time comes to give your inheritance, जब अपनी जायदाद देने का वक्त आता है, who do you give your inheritance to? Do you give to all those children that had come for dinner? And you call them beta, bachcho? No. When it time comes to give your jaidad, your inheritance, your money, you leave it to your children. Am I right in that part? So now when you say children, beta, you are speaking to particular 1, 2, or 3 children. That is the attribution of Imam, Rahim. When he said, come, let me bless you with my farman, my inheritance. Let me bless you with my guidance. Let me bless you with my Isme Azam. Let me bless you with my Didar. Let me bless you with my Noor. Let me bless you with my nearness. Whom is he talking to? The Mu'mineen wa Muttaqeen. Again here, there are two kinds. Mu'mineen and Muttaqeen. Let's take the another example again. Just like a man may have 2, 3, 4, 5 children, that is possible that one amongst them is more deserving or favorite of the father, and he leaves him or her more than others for two reasons. Either he or she is more deserving, or he or she is more favorite than others. Just like that, Imam and his Rahim, mercy, he is more gracious to those who are Mu'min and Muttaqin both. They are in Imam's bayat and do righteous deed. वो मुरीद भी है और अच्छे काम भी करते हैं, तो वो इमाम को बातें हैं, इमाम की आंखों में वो अच्छे लगते हैं, तो इमाम उनको अपने नूर में से, इल्म में से, दीदार में से, दोरवणी में से ज्यादा देता है. He gives more to the muttaqeen compared to mu'mineen, because mu'mineen is a generic term meaning everything is smiley by birth or by marriage, because they are enrolled in our tariqah. Therefore, they are called Ismaili Murid of the Imam. But then amongst them are those who have elevated themselves, who have made themselves more deserving. They have become favorite of the Imam and his mercy. So Imam not only give to the Mu'mineen, Faramin, then those who go for Baitul Kyal Ismi Azam, you notice there's a Jamaat. Everybody receives the Farman. 15 million of them. How many receives the Ismi Azam? Let's say 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. You see? Then there is another layer. Those who does good deeds, ibadat, bandagi, helping the Jamaat, give their qurbani, give their time for the ilm wa ibadat. Follow Imam's farman. Give the time and knowledge nazrana. They give their tan, man, dan. And you cannot see everyone doing that. So those who are muttaqeen amongst the mu'mineen are the inheritance of the Imam's blessing. वो इमाम की जायदाद यानी कि इमाम का इल्म, इमाम की शफकत, इमाम का दीदार, इमाम के नूर के लायक हो जाते हैं. They become deserving and favorite in the eyes of Imam by their action. That is what it means by that Imam's mercy, the attribution of Rahim, is for the Mu'min and especially for the Muttaqeen, but for all others. He is Rahman as the Imamul Nas. So Imam has two titles, Imamul Nas for all equal to Rahman. Imamul Muttaqeen for those who are part of our Jamaat and who have raised themselves and have become the deserving and favorite muttaqeen in the eyes of the Imam, equal to the mercy of Rahim. I believe this answered your question. If you still have a question, please ask at the end. Let's come to the next question. The question number 4. That is amazing question in my eyes. I believe this is very, very fruitful, correct answer to take advantage of these sessions that we are having now. And this gentleman must be someone who have read some of the books, and he's using a proper term, ism wa musamma, name and whose name is it? Ism and Isme Azam. All right, complicated question, right? Because this is someone who must have read some good books of our Dais wa Hujjatan. Or maybe he heard from this Garib and Nachis using the word Isam and Musamma. So let's try to understand the question and then the answer. How do you find someone if you do not know the name? For example, you say, I am looking for a particular person. And then I would ask you, who are you looking for? And you will say, his name is ABC. And I will say, all right, so what is his last name? Where is he from? What is his location? अगर हमको किसी को ढूंढना है तो पहला सवाल होगा उसका नाम क्या है, उसके वालिद का नाम क्या है, उसका लास्ट नेम क्या है, वो कहाँ है, कहाँ रहता है, कहाँ से है वो. You will ask all of those names, right? You can say, I do not know the name, but he is engineer, he is a doctor, he is a specialist, he is a teacher, he is a mukhi. So you may know him by his name or his attribution. You can say, I'm looking for a plumber. I'm just looking for a good plumber, good electrician. I'm looking for a teacher, a good teacher. I'm looking for a mukhi sahib. Mukhi sahib or so and so Jamaat Khana. So you may not know the name, but you would know the attribution of it. That is the question. That when we receive the ism or isme azam, do we understand that this ism, the bowl which is given to us, is belong to whom? Who is this isme azam belong to? Some can say it is one of the name of Allah. Okay, which Allah? Where is he? Where does he live? How will we recognize him? Remember by the name example, that when you say I'm looking for ABC, I'm looking for Kasambai, I would say Kasambai who? What's Kasambai's last name? You will say Kasambai Karim. Okay, where is he from? Is he from Zanzibar? Is he from Mumbai? From Karachi? From Dhaka? From Canada? Where is he from? And what does he do? What's his attribution? And you can say, yeah, he's from Zanzibar. He's a great engineer. He's a great teacher. He's a great doctor. He was a great mukhi, and I'm looking for him. So now you have the name, from where, and what are his attribution. When we have the bowl, Isme Azam, we must know, and if we don't know, ask question. This bowl which is given to us is belong to whom? And if your answer is one of the name of Allah, then the question will arise, Allah who? Have you seen him? Where does he live? What does he look like? Do you know his last name? Do you know his address? Where is he from? What are his attributions? So then our other question answer would be the bowl, the ism which belongs to the Imam. Now we have the first name and we have the last name. The bowl and the Imam we have connected together. Now comes, so what is his attribution? So let's say your Isme Azam is Rahman and Rahim, because we just talked about it. So we're going to use that in our example. So your Ism is Rahman and Rahim, and your Musamma is Imam. And this Musamma, this personality in English, is Imam, and his attribution is that he is most merciful and most gracious. Now you have the Ism and Musamma. Last question remains, how do I find him? How do I find him? Where do I find him? How do I find him? Through ibadat, through personal search, through ilm. Where do I find him? Outside or inside? Outside, you can just Google him and use the word, the Google phrase, Prince Karim Aga Khan, and you will find him physically. But we are not talking about Prince Karim Aga Khan, are we? We are talking about the Imam and his Noor, Musamma, his identity, true identity. Imam's true identity comes from Noor. So where do you find him? In your Alam Shaksi, in yourself. How? Through Ibadat. How? Through Ilm. So you can find him on 3 levels. Today, initially, through Ilm. It's called Ilmul Yaqeen. If you believe in the Ilm which is given to you, you can find the Imam through Ilm. Tomorrow, through Bandagi, Ainul Yaqeen in yourself. Ainul Yaqeen, certainty of I. When you have his spark, his didar, the blink of the nur, you will see in yourself, and now you have the second level of belief. Ainul Yaqeen, the faith with seeing something, someone. But that's not the end of it. Then you can go even higher than that on the 3rd level, at the level of Haqqul Yaqeen. Become one with him. Become one with him. अब आप तीसरे मकाम पर पहुंचे, इल्मुल यकीन और ऐनुल यकीन के बाद हक्कुल यकीन के मकाम पर, जहां आप उसके अंदर फना हो जाए, उसके अंदर एक हो जाए, उसके अंदर जिंदा हो जाए। अब आपको पता है कि वो इसमें आजम जो उसने दिया था वो खुद था वो, क्योंकि you have become one with him. The Ismi Azam he had given to you, there was actually himself. He had given himself to you. He has given his Nur to you. And you reach the 3rd level of Haqqul Yaqeen, the truth with certainty, no doubts, because you are one with him at the level of Haqqul Yaqeen. So that ends all of our 4 questions which we received in writing. There can be more questions. If you like to ask, please do ask. Try to send in the text so Kamadiya Sahib can help you ask those questions. Thank you everyone. Ji.
Subhanallah, sir, Subhanallah. Friends, so please share your questions in the chat. Sir, we don't have any question in the chat. Friends, if you want to ask a question, please unmute your device.
Aziz bhai. That was a question which was a follow-up from yesterday about Al-Rahman and Al-Rahim. Now, how does it get related to Arif Ram Re and Arif Ram Ra?
Okay, so that question is the talim or the teaching of the principle of the Quran. All right, so there are hurufe muktatat, the scattered alphabets in Quran. For example, in Surah Baqarah, Alif Lam Mim. In Surah Imran, Alif Lam Ra. And there are 14 alphabets, scattered words in the Quran. And there are deeper meaning of the understanding of Alif Lam Mim. But yesterday we were talking about how the word Rahman and Rahim is written, and Imam during his bowl ceremony, he was explaining how the word Rahman and Rahim is written. If you know the Urdu or Arabic word, then you will see it. If you don't know, you will not see it. For example, here you can see Alif. I don't know if you can see where I'm pointing to. Right here, Alif, Lam, and Ra. You see it? Let me highlight that only right here. There are 3 alphabets, Alif, Lam, Ra. When you are, Mola Baba was saying in his Betul Kyal Farman, that the way we have written and the way you pronounce is different. Is different.
Right.
If what is written over is Al Rahman, Al Rahman. But if you are saying it together, it would be Ar Rahman. The L will become silent. He was explaining that in that Farman. That when you write, you see Al Rahman. But when you say it, it would be Ar Rahman. The L will become silent. I believe that was your question from yesterday. Same thing goes for Ar-Rahim. So now we're going to talk about Ar-Rahim. If you're writing it, you will write Al-Rahim, but when you say it together, Ar-Rahman Ur-Rahim. Now the Alif and Lam both becomes silent. That is what Imam was explaining. That how is written and how you say it is different. There's a different way of writing it and there's a different way of saying it. Al-Rahim, Ar-Rahim, but if you are saying together with Rahman, Ar-Rahman Ur-Rahim. So in first one, the Lam became silent. In the second one, Alif and Lam both became silent. That was what Imam was showing to the Jamaat when he was giving the Isme Azam. Ji.
Okay. Sir, we have a question in the chat. Friends asking if you can explain personal word.
Yes, this question has come before as well, and today we have some time. This is not the complete understanding or marifat of Alam-e Shaksi. Alam-e Shaksi, the term which our Arifin, especially Arif-e Zaman, have used, term Alam-e Shaksi, personal world. So there is a outer world, ये दुनिया जो हम बाहर देख रहे हैं, and there is the inner world, for which Mola Ali Murtaza says that you think you are a small world when the entire universe is hidden within you. क्या तुम अपने आप को एक छोटी दुनिया समझते हो जबकि पूरी कायनात तुम्हारे अंदर छुपाई गई है? Don't think you are a small human, but the entire universe is hidden within yourself. That is personal world, individual world within ourselves. And in this world contain anything and everything, including Imam. If Imam is Wakulle Sha'in, if everything is contained and encompassed in the Imam Zaman, and Imam Zaman is in you, then what makes you? That makes you in your personal body, not in your physical body. In your physical body, you are nothing but a dust, a particle, insignificant dust and particle. In your alam shaksi, you encompass everything, including Imam. So your personal world is a huge universe. It has anything and everything. So if you wanted to receive the recognition, the marifat of your personal world, then you must dive inside. And the last part of that, Betul Khayal. Ibadat is not done, even though Ibadat is a physical act, but Ibadat is done inside yourself. Betul Khayal, Batin ka vichar or Bulandi ka vichar. The thought of the inner world, personal world, and the thought of the higher world, spiritual world. That is Betul Khayal, and that is personal world, Alam Shaksi. And I only have touched the surface of the personal world. Maybe in some higher level class, higher level understanding, somewhere, inshallah soon, if you are in those classes, we can explain more about the personal world and the treasure of the personal world. अगर किसी और क्लास में, किसी बड़ी क्लास में अगर मौका हुआ तो आलम शख्सी को और उसके खजाने को समझाया जा सकता है. आज हमने सिर्फ उसको टच किया है बस. जी.
So we don't have any question in the chat. So there's one question which I shared with you as well. And since we have some time, we want to answer that question.
Yes, let me
Well,
look it up. For this. Okay. So the question is, yeah, that's a good question, Kamle Sahib, and I will definitely do my best, my garib, humble try to answer them. The question is, does the Qiyamah or the personal resurrection happen once or more than once? Again, personal search, look in the Quran, and you will find two Qiyamah. Two Qiyamah. Matter of fact, if you look at the Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah's Talimat, you will find multiple Qiyamah. If you look in Pir Nasir Khusro teaching, you will find Qiyamah upon Qiyamah, Qiyamah upon Qiyamah, and Qiyamah upon Qiyamah. So let's talk about the 1, 2, and multiple. Each step, each progress, each time we understand something and we say, oh wow, I did not know this fact before. That is a mini Qiyamah for you. Each time in ibadat, you feel that happiness or you see that spark. There is a very, very minute mini Qiyamah for you. On and on, one after the other, step by step, you go through many, many mini Qiyamah. हर मर्तबा जब हमें कोई बहुत अच्छा इल्म का नुक्ता समझ में आता है और हम कहते हैं ओह मुझे ये बात पहले नहीं पता थी, छोटी सी क़यामत हम पर गुजरती है, हम एक दर्जे से बुलंद दर्जे पर पहुंचते हैं, लेकिन छोटा सा, फिर दोबारा दोबारा दोबारा, स्टेप बाय स्टेप। जब जब हमें इबादत में कोई खुशी महसूस होती है, कोई स्पार्क लाइट नजर आता है, चिंगारी नजर आती है, दीदार मिलता है, हम एक क़यामत से गुजरते हैं, फिर दो क़यामत से, और हम बहुत सारी क़यामतों से गुजरते हैं दर्जा ब दर्जा। लेकिन we are talking about mini, very very minute, small resurrection. But then there is a big resurrection. एक बहुत बड़ी क़यामत से एक मोमिन गुजरता है, और वो भी एक मर्तबा नहीं, दो मर्तबा। तो आपने देखा क़यामत is multiple time, क़यामत is one time, and क़यामत is two time. Depends on where we stand individually, ourselves. We may be going through multiple क़यामत on daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, or we may have gone through spiritual क़यामत, the happiness, the spark, the nur, the didar. But we have to go through them again and again to get to that, not mini, but major क़यामत. When we talk about the major क़यामत, there are two major क़यामत. Rohani major क़यामत, Aqlani major क़यामत. The spiritual major क़यामत and intellectual major क़यामत. If we take the example of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the day he received the revelation, first क़यामत, spiritual क़यामत. Second, when he went on Miraj, higher क़यामत, intellectual क़यामत. You see how easy? We have all these examples, and you may have gone through many, many teeny weeny, minute, mini क़यामत yourself. I hope this answers your question. The second word, the beagle is also blown twice. The Surah Israfil दो मर्तबा बजाया जाता है. First time when the surah is blown, we are unconscious, meaning we die. Second time when the beagle is blown, the surah is blown, we become conscious, we become live. So even that is twice. G. There was a lot of more question in this one, but I would say for this session, at this level of class, I think this is good enough for today. G.
Friends, if you have any question, please unmute your device.
या लिमदत अजीज भाई, तो इसका मतलब कि कयामत का मतलब ये है कि जब हम एक दर्जा खत्म करते हैं या कुछ नई चीज हमको महसूस होती है तो वो मतलब एक कयामत हुई है सर?
जी. So every time we feel something, every time we cross one level to the next level, every time we have elevated our understanding ilm-wise or soul spiritually. Qiyamah changes. Qiyamah elevation. Ji, you are correct.
Thank you, Karim. Aziz bhai.
Yeah, thank you, Yali Madad.
यानी
Mawla
मदद
Ali Madad.
अच्छा अपना जो मरने का दिन आता है उसको भी कयामत दिन बोला जाता है ना
जी बिल्कुल, हर इंसान का क़यामत का दिन वो क़यामत है ज़ाती और जिस्मानी, the personal and physical क़यामत, the day we die. But in our tariqa, according to Imam's Farman, according to the Dai's teaching, and according to Quran, one must die before they die. Meaning, one must go through the resurrection, Qiyamah, for the sake of Marifat before they die. Thank you, Jalal Bhai. And there was someone else asking a question.
याली मदद
Yali Madad.
मुझे पूछना था, आप आलम शख्सी की बात करते हैं तो आलम शख्सी को आई मीन इबादत में जो हम वो हो सकता है इसका हमको ज़हूर जो भी, लेकिन इसके अलावा हम ऐसे कैसे प्रैक्टिस करें कि हम अपने आलम शख्सी को पहचान सकें?
So yes, the question is, how do we recognize and realize our personal world? बहुत अच्छा क्वेश्चन है. देखें कि सबसे पहले जो भी बाहर है ना, जो भी आपको बाहर दिखता है, आपको बाहर क्या क्या दिखता है? इंसान, चांद, सूरज, सितारे, जमीन, आसमान, all of that is in you. All of that is in you. And what else do you see out on outer world? Imam and his nur. That is also in you. So first understanding must come from ilm. And the ilm is, the understanding is that whatever is in outer world is within us. Now a bigger question comes. This building is so big, it cannot be inside me. This universe, this earth is so big, how can that be in me? But every day we say, وَكُلَّ شَيْءٍ أَحْصَيْنَاهُ فِي إِمَامٍ مُبِينٍ. How can everything be encompassed in Imam? By its johor, by its ilm, by its attribution, by its essence. ये पूरी दुनिया हमारे अंदर कैसे समा सकती है? उसकी समझ के साथ, उसकी attribution के साथ, उसके जोहर के साथ. And I'd like to give this example which my teacher had given to me actually. So let's say that this is my checkbook and I wanted to buy this home. I cannot take this home and put it in myself. But if I write this check and put it in my pocket, I just put this entire home in my pocket. That's just an example, okay? That with the johor, the essence of everything. So you have a sun in your alam shakti, understanding of Imam. The moon is in your personal world, understanding of Pir. Stars are in you, understanding of Dai. Asman is in you, understanding of higher ranks. Zameen is in within you, understanding of lower rank. You see that? All of the universe is in you. So first understanding come from ilm. So you must learn from outer world and then apply that into your inner world. Thank you. That was a good question.
So what kind of ilm, like इल्म तो हम पढ़ते हैं फरमान वगैरह, और ऐसा कैसा इल्म जैसे आपने बताया कि जमीन का मतलब लोअर, आसमान का मतलब हायर पीपल, तो ये सारी अंडरस्टैंडिंग हमको कहाँ से मिलेगी? अगर हम ये जान भी लेंगे, लाइक यू नो, इतना हार्ड क्यों है कि हम अपने अंदर नहीं जा सकते इतना कुछ करने के बाद भी?
इतना
ऐसा
हार्ड
कौन सा,
नहीं है एक्चुअली, इतना हार्ड नहीं
हाँ,
है।
तो
तो
ऐसा क्यों
आप
नहीं
कर
होता?
रहे हैं, आप उन क्लासेस के अंदर इनरोल हो जिसके लिए मौला ने फरमाया। मौला ने क्या फरमाया? अब उन क्लासेस को ढूंढे कि जहां पर हमारे मजहब का हकीकी इल्म दिया जाता है। Maybe Kamria Sahib is a good resource for you. Check with him. Maybe he
ओके,
knows something.
थैंक यू।
जी,
याली मदद सर।
या अली मदद।
सर एक क्वेश्चन था, एक फरमान की लाइन है, व्हेन अ हकीकती अंडरस्टैंड्स इट्स यूनियन विद गॉड ही इमीडिएटली रीचेस मारिफत। कैन यू एक्सप्लेन अ लिटिल बिट मोर ऑन दिस वन?
जी, so Mullah Ali have also said that the Farman my brother quoted was from the Sultan Muhammad Shah's Farman. Mullah Ali said, those who recognize their soul recognize their Rabb. But then there is another saying of Mullah Ali which explains the first, and that is answer to your question too. Those who understand his soul more understand his Rabb more. So now let's put all this together. The recognition of Rabb is in your personal world, in the recognition of your soul, which is in your personal world. Recognition of yourself is the recognition of your Lord. The more you recognize your soul, the more you will recognize your Rabb, your Lord. In this Farman, you can see Imam is talking about how those who recognize themselves recognize their Lord. So now we have 1, 2, 3 quotation from the Farman, from the Kalam-e-Maula Ali, and the second from Kalam-e-Maula Ali. And with our understanding today, those who recognize themselves will recognize their Lord. The one who recognizes their personal world will recognize Imam's personal world. Those who will recognize their Isme Azam will recognize Imam's Noor. You see, this is all interconnected. Ji.
थैंक यू सर याली मदद।
याली मदद सर।
Ya Ali Madad.
सर एक बार
याली मदद,
समझाइए ना वापस ये वाला पॉइंट।
अच्छा, ये वाला अभी जी।
हाँ, जो
थैंक
खुद
यू।
को पहचाना। या थैंक यू सर।
या तो उर्दू के अंदर कि जिसने, पहले मौला का फरमान था कि जो अपने आप को पहचान लेता है वो अपने रब की मारिफत को पहुंचता है। मौला अली का भी यही कौल है कि जिसने अपनी रूह को पहचाना उसने अपने खुदा को पहचाना। लेकिन उसके साथ उसका जो आंसर था वो दूसरे कौल के अंदर था, जो मौला अली ने फरमाया, जिसने अपने आप को ज्यादा पहचाना उसने अपने रब को ज्यादा पहचाना। यानी कि रब को थोड़ा भी पहचाना जा सकता है और ज्यादा भी पहचाना जा सकता है। तो जिसने अपने आप को पहचाना उसने मौला को पहचाना। यानी कि मौला की मारिफत हमारे अंदर छुपी हुई है। जिसने अपने आलम शख्सी को पहचाना उसने इमाम के आलम शख्सी को पहचाना। जिसने अपनी रूह को पहचाना उसने अपने रब को पहचाना। जिसने अपने इस्मे आजम को समझा उसने इमाम के नूर को समझा, क्योंकि इमाम का नूर इसमें आजम में था। तो इसी तरह से दर्जा ब दर्जा हमारी खुद की पहचान में इमाम की पहचान है, हमारे खुद की मारिफत में इमाम की मारिफत में है। जी, ये नाचीज अर्ज कर रहा था।
Sir, we have a couple of questions. What does this mean? Maula Ali said, we are dead while alive and alive after our death.
जी, so the question need to be asked, which death? Which death? Is Maula Ali speaking of physical death or Maula Ali speaking of Mutu Kabla Anta Mutu? We think we are alive, but actually we are not alive until we have submitted and have become one with Imam, Fanafi Imam. Then our actual zindagi begins. Just like that. On the other hand, when we die, either physically or spiritually, then we are truly alive in the marifat, understanding, nur and the light of the Imam. That was an easy question, and inshallah you understood the answer. Let's make one last question, then we can stop.
So friends asking, in one of your lecture, you had mentioned that soul cannot live without body and body cannot live without soul. Please, can you explain a little further?
जी, अगर हमारे अंदर से रूह निकाल लेंगे तो हम क्या हो जाएंगे? हम तो मर जाएंगे ना। आपने देखा that a body cannot live without soul. जिस्म रूह के बगैर नहीं रह सकता है। अब आए रूह की तरफ। रूह को जिस्म की जरूरत है और जिस्म को रूह की जरूरत है। So body cannot live without the soul and soul cannot live without body. Meaning in our body there is a soul, that's why we are alive. And a soul cannot be alive unless it is in the body. May it be in our body or Imam's body. Wakulla Shain, all is encompassed in Imam. All the souls are living with Imam, in the Imam. I believe this answers your question. So let's stop here. We are at peak of our time. Inshallah, if there are more questions, continue to send. We will try to answer each one of them. Thank you everyone. Yali Madad, Yali Madad.
Mulali Madad, sir. Thank you, sir. Yali Madad.
Yali Madad, Yali Madad, Yali Madad,
Yali Madad, Yali Madad.
Yali Madad, Yali Madad.
Yali Madad, thank you.
Yali Madad,
sir.
Thank you.
Shukr, alhamdulillah.
Yali Madad, sir.
Thank you. Yali Madad, Yali Madad.
Mulali Madad.
Yali Madad, shukr.
Yali Madad, shukr alhamdulillah. Yali Madad, Yali Madad.
Yali Madad, bhai.
Yali
Thank you
Madad,
so
Yali
much.
Madad.
Mola bless you always, bhai.
Ameen, Ameen, Ameen. Yali
Thank you
Madad.
so much.
Yali
Ameen,
Madad,
Ameen.
sir.
Yali Madad, Yali Madad.
Thank you for Ilm Khajana.
Ameen,
Ameen,
Ameen. Yali
ameen.
Madad, Ameen. Yali Madad, everyone.